Hello. Um, Welcome to episode 186, I believe, of live drawing. Um, I'm sorry if I'm not up to my usual speed. I've been dealing with a migraine today. But we're going to do a little bit of sketching and we'll see how we feel. And thankfully, I've already started one of the box doodles, so that's an easy one for me to keep moving on. I hope everybody's having a good evening. And we're still doing the fulfillment of Undersea Hero, which is my creator-owned book that we kickstarted. And these boxes that you see me doodling on are just drawings that the backers get for free with whatever they got. They could have gotten the cheapest thing, but I'm just drawing on them. We did some variant covers. We got the Craig Rousseau, the Joe St. Pierre, the John Lucas, and the Rich Woodall, and my cover. Our first show is coming up this month, our first convention. It's on March 29th. It's Harry's Collectibles Show in Franklin, Massachusetts. It's a lovely little show that's been around for 20 years, 20 plus years, maybe even 30 years at this point. I forget what they said. It's been around a long time. That's just a little doodle that I did on a scrap piece of paper. But yeah, tonight we're going to work on our box doodles. I've been reading some comics lately. This was an issue of X Factor I picked up in the dollar bin. It's drawn by an artist named Terry Shoemaker, who was around in this era and a little bit before, early 90s, late 80s. I remember seeing a lot more of their work around. It's inked by Al Milgrom. And then there's actually a backup story. There's a couple in here. By Stephen Butler, which I like Stephen's work. And I like Freedom Force, so I'm looking forward to reading that. Yeah, Jonathan, I have these little scraps of Bristol that I've been doodling on. I've got some turtles. I've got this. I'm going to put it in my everything in this binder is $25 and see if anybody wants one. I don't know. But yeah, I've got like a Ninja Turtles, we'll see. They're a little bigger than normal sketch cards, but not by much, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I was using what page was I using for reference here for Archangel? This page here, because you can see the geometric shapes on his mask, which Walt Simonson designed the character, and it's got a very Kirby Simonson feel to it. Yeah, I've still been reading mostly indie comics. Actually, Jonathan, this was one of the ones I picked up with you. It's got a cover by Kaluta, which, if you know the studio back in the 70s, you can see Michael William Kaluta. And it's a fantasy book. I'd never read it before, never heard of it, called Dangerous Times, and it's an anthology. And yeah, the first story is about like this druid character getting cast out by the Romans. It's well done. I haven't gotten to the second story yet, but I mean, who knows? I don't know how many issues there are. I've never heard of Evolution Comics. It was probably a little self-published dealy. And who knows? But they made this book. They got to work with one of the greatest artists ever to walk into comics with Kaluta. And, I actually think my buddy Jay would love that story. It's got like some Celtic stuff going on. So I don't want my reference to get too far away. So we'll put it over here. That cover does nothing for me. You can see that the as far as reference goes, it's a beautiful Magnolia cover, but let's see if we can flip to our reference page. There we go. It's obviously not going to look like a Terry Shoemaker drawing, but it'll look like one of mine. But I just needed it for the shapes, really, and then when we get our paint markers out. when I was a kid, the whole Warren becoming Archangel was a big reveal, and then that kind of like solidified Apocalypse as like a heavy, like he was a force to be dealt with, you know, because he was able to take one of the original X-Men and turn him into one of the Horsemen. I find that when doing box doodles, the larger one of these Tombow pens that's got a more flexible tip tends to give me a little bit more reach. And it helps me keep things moving. Jonathan, you managed to read any of the books you picked up while we were on our little comic trip? Not really, no. No more than drawing on paper, because these are quite smooth. These aren't as like bubbly as you would think. Hey, I was just glad you were finally able to get your copy after supporting it so much over the haul. And I was finally able to get you your copy of Craig's book too, the Choopy book. I saw that Craig's gearing up to do the next Per Half an Ounce Kickstarter, so I will definitely share it. I'll see if I can get Craig on the show to plug it. I bugged him a few. He was on the show a long time ago, I think, when we really first were starting doing this. He was like, "You're doing what?" Hey, Martha, it's good to see you. Been fighting off a migraine today. How are you doing? Oh, it's Dr. Mask here. For some reason, I don't see a comment from them. Maybe the chat's being weird, which is possible. One of the things I remember as a kid also about Warren was I remember there was a Marvel Fanfare issue that Joe Staton drew that had a beautiful David Mazzucchelli cover. I always thought that was one of the best depictions ever of the character. Um, and I remember when they did if anybody watched the original X-Men animated series, I remember when they portrayed Warren, he was kind of there just to become Archangel, so you didn't really have the payoff of him being an X-Man for all that time, and like everything that he did as a character that kind of led to why it was so impactful. I kind of always said the same thing about the whole Phoenix to Dark Phoenix way they did it in the movies multiple times. Like, we had become fans of the character for decades, and that was why the change in it was so, impactful and meaningful. Hey, good for you, Martha's doing those gesture drawings and staying on it. It's tough. Tough keeping those schedules. And the one thing I don't remember was it mostly black? I don't think so. I think it was all blue, like his suit. Blue with purple piping, basically. No idea if whoever gets this cares about the X-Men or if this would be a character that they would want, but I just thought it would be an interesting challenge to do. See, and I think, I got nothing to lose, so like, I think that this would look better if you push the lighting a little bit more. Just pushing the lighting a little bit, seeing how that pulls us together a little. Something about it, I think that just a little bit more lighting would give it just a little more pop. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's just tough. It's tough to keep that discipline as far as doing studies goes. I did post the map for Little Giants comic show that'll be up in New Hampshire in April, and I was actually going through my collection. There's some stuff I want to bring to get signed. I actually have a page of artwork from the book Thunderstrike that both the inker and the writer will be there. So, and it's already signed by the penciler. So I'm hoping to get that signed at some point, depending on how the lines are. I don't like to cut in line. Some pros are cool with it, but it's just like, I don't know. Everybody paid to get in, and I don't I always feel uncomfortable doing that. Thanks. Yeah, we've got other shows lined up, but those are the first two coming up. Hey, Patrick, good to see you. Yeah, it's one of those design elements. You're right. That in practice doesn't make a ton of sense, but it does look cool. So, and I think we've talked about this on the channel when it comes to character design. I will take looking neat and impractical over practical 99% of the time with superhero stuff. I don't know, the trying to make superheroes realistic thing never flipped my switch. So like the idea of, oh, you got to have Batman in like crazy body armor or whatever, and I'm like, I don't know. Hey, how's it going, Michael? Did you change your handle? Is that a different account you're calling in from? Yeah, there's a movie I haven't seen in many years. I've not seen Chinatown in many years. Rented it, uh, I think was the last time I saw it. So that'll tell you how long ago that was. Rented it on the DVDs. Ah, change your Dr. Midnight. Well, welcome aboard, Doctor. Hey Brian, good to see you, man. Hope all is well. Even the kiddos. I'm not sure why I picked this character, other than I was flipping through an issue of X Factor. When I was a kid, I really liked the X-Men comic books, but that was, that was the style at the time, much like tying an onion to your belt. It was the 90s. It was a different time. It was a different world. Now, was his skin blue? It was like a light blue, I think. Or was it the same blue? No, it was a slightly lighter blue, so we'll use that blue there. Need that blue. We need our magenta. We need our white. Silver. I feel like I'm missing a pen. I don't know where it is. There's the gold. There's the darker blue. There's that silver. That's that silver. Don't know where that pen is. Most of that stuff in the way. I'm being very unprofessional right now, so you'll have to forgive me. There's the purple. Did I put it in the wrong bag? Did that happen? No, I don't think so. Hopefully I didn't lose it. Oh, there it is. Right in front of me the whole time. That's the migraine, kids. That's the migraine. Oh, you can just use an X-Acto knife along there's like the little edge here, and it'll open right up. So just slice this tape. You're not going to be able to get the tape off of the drawing. Let me see if I can edit the text there. Hold on. Let me see. All settings. Is that better? Is that better? Pink is it? How pink is it? Very pink. We want this pink. Let's see which pink is. They're very similar. Let's go with this pink. I'm not suffering. I'm going to be doing the work either way because I have to keep moving forward on stuff. I got to get everybody's boxes done. So, if this one just takes longer, we'll just do one. But it's one of the shows where, like the Little Giant show, they have so many good vendors that I would go shopping there even if I wasn't a guest. Excuse me. And they always have killer artists, and this year they've got basically if you're a excuse me, get a sip of water. If you're like a 90s Spider-Man fan or of Venom or whatever, you've got like the writers, the artists. Bagley will be there, and then they got the Superman guys of like Jurgens and Breeding. So if you liked the Death of Superman era of comics. Don't know why my voice went out there just for a second. I don't know. I'm going to blame them. Any sort of technical difficulties. When I can get away from my table, definitely. Yeah. When Jimmy Talbot, who's been a dealer in Boston for a very long time, he used to run Boston Comic Con. When he sets up, he always carries stuff that I like. He'll carry like the old Charlton stuff and indie stuff from different eras. Last time he had some Charlton horror stuff. He had some Gold Key for cheap, so like the Magnus Robot Fighter or the Flash Gordon. One thing that not everybody knows is that the Flash Gordon line ran straight through from King to Charlton to Gold Key. So it is sequential. It just bounced from company to company. So one of the things that used to change with Archangel is they would have certain people, depending on who wrote them, who would write him like a little more dark than other people. And he would be more brooding or oh, I forgot we need yellow because he's got yellow eyebrows, which I always thought was kind of a weird design choice to have those showing, but am I having a table at convention this year? Which one? I've tweeted out my list, or I've posted it. I'll be at Heroes. I'll be at Boston Comic Con, the Wicked one, and the Fan Expo Boston. Yeah, just depends which one. I will not be at San Diego if that's what you're asking. I actually have to re-up my professional status with them, so I couldn't even apply this year. I lost our line. I'll go back in and grab it. That's okay. That is one of the good things about paint pens as opposed to other markers is that you can go in and pull stuff back out. I'm sorry to hear that you've been dealing with medical stuff. No, it's not a big deal. I was just wondering which show you meant. I meant nothing by it at all. I wasn't trying to be snippy or anything, I promise. I wasn't like, how dare you not see my sacred posts? No, it was just a thing that went out. And it probably just means I need to share it more. Go back in and pull that line back out that we lost. Sorry to hear that you're having to deal with medical appointments and stuff. So. Best to your aunt. I wish her a speedy recovery. See, this is what I like about paint pens is that I was started out doing more painting rather than drawing, so like there is a more natural feel to these to me than with markers. I could have easily gone in. I didn't want to go with yellow light just because there's yellow in his eyebrows, and I know that sounds weird, but I didn't want to add more. I don't want to overdo it. It just needs a little bit more of this light blue, especially on his nose and stuff. But yeah, I've got a handful of shows I'll be doing. So, are you going to be setting up? You did the sale. I remember you did that sale at one of the events. Are you going to be setting up at any shows? If you're looking for a small one to reach out to that has good people, it's run by I'm doing CodCon. It's run by the Hyannis Public Library. They're really nice folks. If you're looking for a not gigantic show to set up at. See how our silver looks. This was the other reason I wanted to do it, because I thought it would look cool with the silver. I am drawing slow tonight, aren't I? Just looked at the clock. I'm usually much quicker than this. We'd be on like box 2 or 3 by now on a normal night. Again, we blame the migraine. Let's see if I can peel this off without messing it up. Nope, this tape has been a pain for this purpose. Let's see if we can hold it down like a little circle of tape. I don't know. I'll be interested to see what happens with convention season this year, just with things changing so much in the industry and all the new books out that people got, all the new creator projects that are going on. 9 of 60, yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. Jeez, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Well, I hope you, if you want to, you get to doodling at some point soon, if you want to. have to kind of hold this at a weird angle just because of the shape of the pen tip. So sorry, it's off screen. I'll try to do it this way without messing it up too much. Oh, geez, I just saw that. I thought I was your other. I thought you said it was your aunt. I'm sorry, Mike. Jeez. Hey, you said parents and aunts' medical appointments, and then yours. I'm sorry. I feel like we should send Mike a care package. I think that's what we're gonna do. Throw some comics in a mailer. Send them to Mike. Because I got his mailing address from the Kickstarter. Jeez, that's a lot to deal with, Mike. Well, thank you for being here tonight. I'm really happy you're here. I'm glad you got to spend the evening with us. It's always good to hear from you. And I still always repeat here, if you're not doing well, I hope things get better for you. It's a great mantra, and I would share the same with you. I did do an interview with the Angry Geeks yesterday evening. I put a link to it in the description of the stream. You can see it on YouTube. They're on public access. They've got all kinds of stuff going on. But one of the things that came up is I did mention the possibility of us doing the stream anthology, the Dime Box comics. So I'm hoping, we got plenty of creators in the chat tonight, people that are writers and artists. So I'm really hoping we can do that and make it something really fun. I did talk to a couple of my pro friends about it. There was a wink and a nod from one. So even if I can't get them to do a story, I think I'll be able to get a couple of pinups or a variant cover from some of my pals. I think if I bother John Lucas enough, like if I just text him a bunch of times, he'll be like, all right, fine, I'll draw something. Oops, I got some paint pen on there. Where's our brush pen? There it is. Let's do a little. I think I gotta turn it over to get the right angle here. Just a little bit of dry brush. Finish her off. Hey, awesome. Even if people just like comics, I'd like them to get a chance to write something for an artist to draw. So even if it was just a one-pager or something. So there we go. There's a Warren Worthington in color with some silver. Nice, just headshot box doodle. Nice and easy. I'll share some of the other ones I finished. Here's a Swamp Thing that I did. I thought this one came out pretty nice. So I thought that came out pretty well for Swamp Thing. Love Swamp Thing. Did another Undersea Hero. Did a Wonder Woman. Red, white, and blue. I don't know if I showed off the raft. We did these on the stream together, so you've seen those. You've seen all those. So yeah, I'd share the other ones. That's a good idea. Pin up or paper doll page or an activity page or something. What do we draw next? People usually expect the tick or whatever from me, so. Let's draw Lord Krakus. I've done a Krakus. Oops, that was my banner stand. Brian says he had a Swamp Thing #1 in his attic. Mice liked it, so yeah, that's the. They generally like the good ones too. Yeah. I will say the one character that has tested with audiences well so far has been Radio Bear, so I was glad to hear that. We actually have, when we get the Threadless store going, I've got a Radio Bear shirt that I have come up with. So. I probably did see it, Martha, but I just don't remember off the top of my head. In fact, you might have emailed it to me at a certain point. We also all have to wish Brian a well wishes because he has himself some medical stuff going on soon. So get well soon, Brian. Hope everything goes swiftly, smoothly, and as painless as possible. I was actually going to send you a message to see if you at least wanted me to send you a copy of the books. I know you're picking up all your stuff at Little Giant, but I didn't know if you'd need a few ha-has while you were recuperating. One thing when I do have my migraines is my form is usually a little wonky, so if we draw crackus, it can be a little wonky and nobody will care. Yeah, I know. It's just you got to go to the hospital. You got to go to the medical stuff is a pain, even when it is routine stuff. So we all wish you well as well. Well, that's the important thing. It's clearly you have those sort of procedures to immediately get back to comics. That's the priority set, sir. I'm just kidding. Yeah, anytime I was sick, I would read comics, or if I was at the doctor's office. They used to have comics at the doctor's office, like kind of like like at the barber shop or whatever. They'd be in the magazine bin. Like there was a time where comics were that universal. They weren't quite as niche as they've become. Yeah, we're all dealing with stuff. Although I will try to complain the least for just having a migraine. It's unpleasant, dizzy. It was hurting for most of the day, but it is not a having to go to the doctor situation. Yeah, I saw Brian had posted it on his Facebook, so I just wanted to, since he popped in tonight, I can directly just wish him well. Hopefully, I will have some good Undersea Hero news soon that I can announce, but it's still in the works, so I can't say anything yet. But there's hopefully good news on the horizon on multiple fronts, actually, which is nice. No, it's not merchandise. It's not anything like that. No. And like I said, when you want, you've got the first. If you want to make little Undersea Hero pewter dealies or anything that with your business, you would have first crack. See, Brian makes all these crazy little models for like trains and just miniatures of all sorts of stuff. And he's done board games. He's done all kinds of things. Yeah, who knows if there'd ever be such a thing? I don't know. One thing working against me is that like I don't know. That's just not. I don't collect them, so I don't know. I'm not like chasing that thing. I did promise Desiree that we would figure out a way to do some sort of plushy, crackissy thing someday, but no idea when. Yeah, I mean that stuff all costs tons of money to make. So like that's if I had to fund it myself, like that's why I don't like go that route. We're gonna do the threadless thing, so we'll have shirts and things. I don't know what else they offer through there. I know that framed pictures is one of the things that people had asked me about, like framed posters that you can just order and they show up framed and they're print on demand. Like that seemed like a reasonable thing. But I know they do all kinds of merchandise and stuff. I don't want to overdo it, but just having a couple of shirts I think would be nice. Start small, see how it does, see if anybody wants any of that stuff. other than the present company. I have considered just making little sculptures to put on my table. Ah, okay. I'll take your word for it. I will take your word for that. Yeah, I've looked into all kinds of stuff, but like it's a matter of like, do I want to spend the money? Is it viable? You know, and if it's not viable, is it something that would make me really happy to do? And I don't know. Some of the things, yes, some of them, no. But if somebody wanted to sponsor it, wanted to do it, I'm open to licensing stuff. I don't know if he can make action figures, but I know he can make little sculpture dealies. Like makes little houses, makes little buildings. He's done stuff for museums. He's done all kinds of stuff. I think the immediacy of so much merchandise just kind of like, makes it easy to envision things, but the actual like, making of stuff is still there's a lot that goes into it. But who knows? Maybe someday someone will be like, "Hey, we want to make it," and I'll be like, "Sure, let's sign a contract that is good for everybody." That's the good thing about owning your own stuff, so that you have those opportunities to pursue those sorts of agreements. Yeah, it is very cool. definitely running out of gas, so this will be our last little sketch. And it's going to be a little bit more simple box doodle, but everybody likes Crackus, I think. Yeah, we just throw a little color on it. We don't have to do it. Don't have to color the whole thing like a painting. I don't think that that's what's best for the boxes. The ones that I've added too much paint to, I don't think have been as good as the ones that intentionally use the color of the paper. So it's one of the things that I think the better box doodles do is that they let the toned paper be part of the composition instead of just filling in everything that's yellow and then adding some shading to it. Just planning that stuff out in advance. This is more like one of the early box doodles instead of when I've been spending, hours and hours on these things. Some people are getting drawings that take me, a full day. Hey, Douglas, good to see you, man. Glad you got it and glad you dig it. Douglas was instrumental in getting the word out about the book. Because we shared a space at San Diego in '23. He helped get the book official debut status for issue 0. And Doug hasn't been around as much because I know he's off doing his own thing. But for those that don't know, he has his own book of Arsenic Lullaby that he's done for many years, and it was nominated for like every award. He worked on Mad Magazine. He did stuff for Valiant. He worked on The Tick. He's done all kinds of stuff. Just a little green for the little olive. And then just line it in blue. White. Grab our bleed proof. Just a little glimmer on his glass. Really nice. Simple one. We did a quick Krakus. Then we did our Warren. Did our Archangel early on. I got to show off the Swamp Thing just because I think it came out really nice. And this is what I was talking about as far as using the box as part of the design. And like, I really just put the color in where the very middle tones would be and let the black carry the shadow. And then the brown is essentially taking the place of the highlight. And the only thing that's white is anything that is like stark white. So that kind of gives you the formula for those drawings. But thanks everybody for hanging out tonight. I'm sorry I wasn't at my best with the migraine and everything going on. And Mike and Brian, I wish you both well with your health stuff. And I very much hope to see everybody next week. And I wish you all an excellent weekend. So good night, everybody. Take care.